Hey there! So you've got this passion for beautiful old clocks, and you're thinking, could I actually turn this into a business? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down how to sell antique clocks online by focusing on the one thing that truly matters, building trust.
You know, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? We're not just talking about decorations here. These are living pieces of history, each one with a story ticking away inside. And that's the magic we want to share with our buyers.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with why this is such a great opportunity. Then we'll get into why trust is your absolute secret weapon. After that, we're going to get practical, sourcing, testing, making listings that really pop. And then we'll wrap it all up with how to launch your very own professional shop.
So, first things first, why even jump into this market? Well, it turns out antique clocks have some pretty unique things going for them that make them fantastic to sell online.
I mean, think about it. They actually do something, they look incredible, and unlike that trendy throw pillow that's going to be out of style next year, a good antique clock is a solid investment. That's a really rare mix, and it's why there are so many people out there looking for one to add some real character to their home.
Okay, but here's the catch, right? You're selling something that's complicated, fragile, and pretty valuable to someone who can't even hold it in their hands. And that creates some very real fears you have to tackle head on.
And this just lays it all out perfectly. On one side, you've got all the romantic stuff that makes people want these clocks, the story, the craftsmanship. But on the other, you have all these worries. Is it a fake? Is something broken that I can't see? And oh my gosh, is it going to survive being shipped to my house? Your entire job as a seller is to bridge that gap.
So, this is the most important takeaway of the day. You are not going to win by being the cheapest. No way. You're going to win by being the most trusted seller out there. Everything you do, every photo, every word has to be about building that confidence.
So how do we actually start building that trust? Well, it begins way before you even think about writing a listing. It starts with how you find your clocks and how you test them.
My first piece of advice, don't try to be everything to everyone. Pick a lane. Maybe you just love Art Deco mantel clocks, or you're into those classic schoolhouse wall clocks. Focusing like that lets you become a real expert. You'll know what to look for, you'll write way better descriptions, and your shop will just feel more legit.
Ah, yes, the million-dollar question. This is the one that keeps sellers up at night. Because a clock can be running beautifully for you, but the moment it gets jostled in shipping, it stops. So how in the world do you talk about this honestly? The answer is you build a system, a consistent, realistic routine. This isn't about you suddenly becoming a master clockmaker overnight. It's about having a checklist that you follow for every single clock, so you can describe its condition fairly and accurately every single time.
And that right there is the key. You're not trying to get away with anything. This is just responsible selling. You're not making wild promises like keeps perfect time. Instead, you're just stating the facts of your test. It manages the buyer's expectations and honestly, it protects you too.
Okay, so you've got your testing process down. Now we get to the fun part, the part the customer actually sees, your listing. This is where you turn all that behind-the-scenes work into pure buyer confidence.
Look, your photos are your #1 tool for building trust. Don't just show the pretty angles. Get right in there and show any scratches or dings. If you can, take a photo of the movement. It shows you have absolutely nothing to hide. And always have a picture of the key and pendulum so they know exactly what they're getting. Transparency is everything here.
Of course, you could have the world's best listing, but there's still that final boss to defeat, shipping. It scares off so many people. How do you get this heavy, delicate, mechanical thing across the country without it arriving in a million pieces?
It all comes down to a simple, repeatable method. You lock down anything that moves. You protect that glass face. You pack it so tight it can't shift an inch. And for the really good stuff, you double box it. It's a system, and once you get it down, I promise, it's not nearly as scary as it sounds.
Right. Let's move on to the final piece of the puzzle. It's time to create a professional online home for your business. A place where all this hard work can really pay off.
You know, online marketplaces are fine, but having your own website, that's a game changer. It gives you the space to tell your story. You can have a whole page just explaining your testing process or showing photos of how carefully you pack. It just elevates you from some random person selling a clock to a trusted specialist.
Now, I get it. If the thought of building a website gives you a headache, you are not alone. That's why services exist specifically for this. Make Local for Global, for example, is a service that builds online shops for people who would much rather focus on finding cool stuff than messing with code.
And you might think something like that would cost a fortune, but their entry-level plan is surprisingly affordable at just £99 a year. And they don't take a commission on your sales.
And look what you get for that. I mean, they handle the whole shebang. The store build, your domain name, the hosting, email, payment setup, plus training and support. The whole point is to just get rid of all those tech hurdles so you can do what you love.
So let's just bring this all home. The secret to building a real, lasting business selling antique clocks isn't about having the lowest prices or the fanciest website. It's about competing on one thing: clarity. Clarity in how you test, how you describe, how you photograph, and how you ship.
You know, every single clock in your collection has a history, and it's just waiting for its next chapter. The only question is, are you ready to be the one to sell it?